Okay, we're going to go over the system reflection that I just created. Pardon that there's not a lot of paper that you would see due to I didn't feel like wasting a bunch of pieces of paper and this seemed a bit more organized than as was directed. When I go through this, you'll see that there will be, I would say, a little bit of a connection with sports and education because it's kind of been a big thing for me and fitness as well. So we will start with immediate family. For my mother, father, and brother, it's always been kind of pretty average standard family. For my mother, caring, loving, always there to cheer and support me. For my father, my number one fan on and off the playing field, especially for me in my fishing career right now. And my brother, just the usual brother to brother combat, always roughhousing around the house growing up. Present, both still hold true for my mother and father. My brother, he has now become less senile and is supportive of what I'm doing, especially my fishing career. For that, I kind of labeled it as a positive because, you always got to have a good family. But unfortunately, it was red, which means it was a positive emotion on top of that, so it was a good thing. Distant relatives put as a negative and also blue because just kind of how everything has been personally. I don't feel like delving into any personal issues. It's been a little rough recently in a family. So that's why that was blue, which that also links to two others, I believe. I'm going to go through all this. For my friends, most definitely a positive, and it's kind of like a medium emotion along with work as well. Just because, yeah, it's fun to be caddying and being a hockey official, but also still being a student, just kind of heavy a little bit. And say of my friends, growing up, I was always around them, but now I rarely see them. But like now, when I sometimes have weekends off, I see them, but it's still that mixed emotion feel about it. Then we go down to present mate. Really never had much of a big relationship, so I really couldn't delve much into it. So I kind of based it off of work relations, to where I never talked to members or talked to any other officials. But now I do, which is a great positive and also a good learning tool for me, to where once I'm done with school, I can get a good job. Church, most definitely a negative and a yellow highlight, just because as a Catholic person all my life, I've always learned to always obey the Sabbath and just to, in general, just kind of be the good Christian boy. And then same too with information sources. Thanks to technology nowadays, we can kind of get any source online or still through traditional newspaper, which now me growing older, I'm learning to learn a bit more about these information sources. Then we go up to education. It's definitely a blue and a negative just because, like I said before, just kind of being where I am right now with work and everything else, I would really love to get school done once and for all. So hopefully I'll be done by the summer. Community, most definitely. Community is huge for anybody, at least in my opinion. So that's why I labeled it positive with a red circle, just because how positive my community has been for me in assisting with my fishing career and what my true passion is. And the same also applies for acquaintances and nonprofit volunteer work, which those kind of go hand in hand for me because being with acquaintance, I also have to be the supervisor for my refereeing career. And before I hated supervising, but now I absolutely love it because I can now give back to the community of my officiating peers and kind of help them and give them information and tips from what I was given at their level. Next, we go to cultural impacts. Cultural impacts, most definitely a big positive and a big red for me. Just because of how much I've learned about myself. That's most definitely more of a self category for me. And then hopefully just goes through the roof and learn a bit more and more as time goes by. Global issues, most definitely a big blue negative, just because, nobody really likes war, and politics is always the big ball of dog turds. To say it politely, don't want to really go much into that topic. Social norms, for me, it's negative, a little bit of a highlight, just because texting has just really become the main form of communication. that being said, it means there's really not that much social interaction, person to person. It's just all done via online or on your phone, or even with Facebook. Strangers, always going through the Catholic League school, I always thought that strangers are always bad, but you know what? They're really not that bad at all. Just like once you get to know them, it's perfect. Which is why that's a big red positive for me. Same with networks. Another big red positive for me, just because of the fact that like even though I have kind of like veered away from my friends and everything, just like networking has always been that number one way to always get a hold of them. And especially with repping and being a program that I'm in, that's basically my new sports team, and I love every single minute of what I do for them. Coming up in the rear, we got our recreational activities, travels, and relationships with nature and technology. So here we have three red positives, as you will see there, all interlinked with everything else that you see there. And then our one negative with the yellow highlight, as you'll see, is also highlighted and connected throughout this whole presentation. For me, recreational activities, it's far and few between. Mostly all I do every day is go to class, work out, and travel for reffing on the weekends. So reffing or recreational activities, minus the golf in the summer, very minimal. But it's still positive because it's still what I truly love doing, and hopefully I can keep going at it. Travels kind of go into recreational activities just because of I travel virtually almost every weekend. Like for example, I just did my taxes and I am just about to put over 20,000 miles on my car. Yeah, I can believe that. Relationships with nature. I just always do my due diligence. Don't litter. Don't do anything stupid. So I always try to be self-conscious about that. So always big positive, big red circle. Gotta love it. And the last one was my own choosing. I picked technology just because of how much it has changed from how I was growing up with the VHS. And now we have Netflix to basically watch everything. And the same with having Nintendo 64, playing Mario Kart and Super Mario, to where everything now has become virtual. And as you see again through the interwebs, I've linked everything through all my positive, all my negatives. There's most definitely overall, I would say there's been a lot of more positive and red circles than negatives, just because I would say it's just having a good personality trait to have that type of emotion set. Couple of yellow circles, but that's just it's just a little bit mixed emotion and some reasoning that I would wish not to dive into just for personal reasons. But this is my presentation on my web circle, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.